Do one. So yeah. Sweet. How you guys enjoying SKBC so far?
Oh yeah.
It's great.
Having a lot.
Do you guys like the pods?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
Like the pods? Sweet. So I want to first get a feel for everybody in this class and a little bit of introduction. I want to get an idea because one, we combined two sword and board classes, and I want to kind of know where I want to start with this class and where kind of I want to end up based on your guys' skill level, right? I want it to be really beneficial for everybody that's here. So I'm gonna let's give like a quick brief introduction. We'll start with the instructors, and then if you guys could give me just a brief introduction of you, name, and then also where you feel like you're at a skill level. Just tell me beginner, intermediate, advanced, right? 1, 2, 3. And then if there's something in this class that you're really interested in learning, like, hey, I really wanted to come to Sword and Board because I'm really interested in learning X. Tell me that. Cool? So I'll start off. My real name's Aaron, fake name Kai. I'm from No Quarter, Baltimore, Maryland. Yeah, I think I'm part of the advanced Sword and Board area. So I will pass it on.
I am Morpheus. I've been playing the game 17 years. I'm out of St. Louis, Missouri, by the Gore. I also would probably qualify myself in the advanced sword board area. Yeah, that's
I'm Banshee. Been playing for 11 years. I also think I'm in the advanced sword
I would
area.
say so.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm Farix out of St. Louis, Missouri, Kingdom of Tal'Dagor, and my specialization is Punch Shield, and I've been playing probably close to 10 years now.
Coombe, I've been playing for 23 years. Intermediary. Medical issues is why I'm doing this one.
Okay. What medical issues for the class?
Bum knee.
Bum knee.
Nine surgeries and another one in 2 weeks.
Okay. So if you have any issues in the class, let us know. We'll try and work around it.
I'm Tater. Real name's Nathan. I'm out of Austin, Texas. I've been fighting for about 8 years. I consider myself kind of intermediate, trying to like peak into advance. So that's really why I'm here, is trying to get to that next little plateau. So I feel kind of plateau.
My name is Justin, or Patches. I'm out of Knoxville, Tennessee, Kingdom of Winter's Edge. Been fighting for, I don't know, maybe 20 years or so, off and on. And I'd say I'm about in the same boat as you.
Cool.
Hi, I'm Ink or Tara. I've been fighting for about 6 months. I'm clearly advanced and should be teaching. I am a sponge and I want to learn everything I can at SKBC.
Awesome. Cool.
I'm Ash Urbanical, not to be confused with any other Ashes, from the Kingdom of the Rising Winds in Indiana. I am intermediate. I just love having shields and then killing people.
Awesome. Hell yeah.
I'm San. I'm from Terre Haute, Indiana. A lot of Belgar, a lot of Banshee. I've been fighting for 8 years off and on, 2 competitive years, and I definitely feel I'm comfortably in the intermittent stage, and I want to do everything I can to get to the advanced stage.
Sweet.
Sporky. I've been playing for roughly 14 years. Amtgard and Belagarth all up and down the I-75 corridor. And I feel like I'm an intermediate. I'm trying to work on getting out of that and get back to where I lost a lot during the pandemic. I'm trying to get back to it.
Hear that.
Hi, I'm Cecil. My fighter name, my real name is Cyril, and it confuses a lot of people. I am from Cookville, about 2 hours east of here, with the Ashlands, and I'm about the same skill level as Forky here, and also kind of that upper intermediate getting into advanced area.
I'm Hale from the Ashlands as well. I've been fighting for 15 years now, and I'm also with this crew, intermediate, trying to crest into advance.
All right.
I'm Umber. I'm also with this group, playing for about 2 years. I'm lower intermediate, definitely trying to get more, consistent with my skill.
Cool. All right. So what I'm hearing a lot of is kind of the intermediate territory, right? Intermediate, trying to learn some more stuff. I heard some beginner stuff. That's cool. We're gonna definitely start with like some beginner and work our way through the intermediate stage into some cool advanced stuff, depending on how fast we go. And so if you end up having some trouble with it, let us know. Like let's work it out, right? Cool. All right. So I got my handy dandy iPad because I keep everything on docs and I don't have to print anything out anymore, so it's pretty sweet.
2023 technology.
So, yeah. So the first thing I want to just kind of chat about is just sword and board in general, right? So you guys can raise your hand if you want to answer this question, even some of the instructors. But like, why sword and board? Why do you want to pick up sword and board? What's so cool about it? What is it? Advantages, disadvantages?
It is my most comfortable weapon set. It's my bread and butter. When I think of Amtgard and I think of Bellegarde, I think of fighting with the sword and board, and that's because I have a good defensive capability and relatively good offensive capability responding to what's in front of me.
Okay. Anybody else?
For me, it's not a red sword right now. So, and it's a place to start that. I showed up here for every board thing that I could absorb because I'm like starting over. I feel like I had like a sword and board identity. It was do a bunch of stuff and copy a bunch of people, but I didn't have my own like methodology. I just had your methodology and then your methodology and your methodology, and then I hope that wins me a tournament.
Yeah, I have to say it makes me smile when I hear like someone with that is really good at pole coming over to the sword and board territory, because that's like 100 to 1. Like you get a ton of people doing sword and board and then they branch out to do something else.
You've seen the light.
You know. All right, anybody else? Anybody else want to talk about it?
So I started out with pretty much only single player. I just want to expand off of that.
Yeah. So you can do lateral columns. Right now we're supposed to be just focusing on going back and forth in a straight line, just so we can see that, but that's not the case.
Saw a hand over here somewhere.
Yeah, if you do it right, it looks so unbelievably fucking pretty.
Yeah. Backspins. That's my answer. Backspins.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
He is not wrong.
It's the most fun.
Yeah, honestly,
So
that.
much too.
Yeah, it's the most fun.
Yeah.
For me at least.
Like grinding with another. Well, that's nice.
We'll talk later.
Cabin 26.
I'm not editing anything out.
No, but like seriously, when you get in that really close grind and you're just going for hours,
It's just fun.
Yeah.
How creative you can get while still being defensive.
So there's a couple different types of shields, right? Well, just beyond like just different sizes of shields, but you got punch, you got center straps, you got low strap shields, you got kite shields. I try and break it down into like punch and strap, just to generalize it. And I think that both have their advantages and disadvantages. Some are more fun than others, I think. I'm personally in the strap zone. I love strap shields, mostly because I play dagger here in Bellegarde and I can punch people with it. It's a lot of fun. But what are some advantages and disadvantages to center strap versus shield, like strap shields versus punch shields?
With a punch shield, I can defend any part of my body that I need to at not any point in time, but a lot more points in time. Like I can move the board from this half over here to this half, and then fight from this way.
Lends itself to more mobility, more
Mobility
creativity,
versus
maybe.
stability.
Yeah.
But with
Go ahead.
with a strap shield, I feel very grounded and centered. Like this is my vulnerable wall to hide behind until I see it ready.
Word. Okay.
Punch shields are more susceptible to manipulation. There's a real big weakness for them, where straps are a lot more bound to the body. So if someone tries to manipulate how or just flat out ignore it most of the time, you have really good solid frame.
Especially for like someone starting out with a strap shield, you just don't need to worry about your shield. You often get told, leave your shield there and work on literally everything else.
Yeah, you'll hear a lot like you're fighting single with something strapped to your arm.
Especially as a lefty. And then with the punch, it is fun to like, even within Amtgard, to play with the idea of like you said, you have to punch people with your shield. You can punch people with a punch shield without actually moving their body, which means it's legal. So that you can actually use that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, I'll say one of the things I like about punch shields, even though I don't use them very often, I feel like I'm gonna say this a lot. Like I'll probably say a lot of things in this class. I'll be like, 100% or the rule is X. I feel like with punch shields, you can break the rules a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just knowing about when to do it and why you're doing it.
I get bored 3 rounds into using a strap shield. My arm doesn't have anything to do.
So for all you guys trying to get from intermediate to advanced, I'll tell you what my differentiation of the two are, and that is if you're intermediate, you know the rules like the back of your hand. You are awesome at the rules. If you want to be advanced, you need to know when and where to break the rules.
I'm basic. I'm dropping it back down to basic.
Right? Respect. Cool. All right. So we're gonna start picking up some gear here. I know you guys. This has been a talkie class so far. I just want to get some foundation going on. We're gonna start picking up some gear here. We're gonna start with some basic stuff. You guys kind of listen to the foundations course that Peter the Quick put on at the beginning of the day. What did you guys think of that?
That was
great.
Great.
Got a lot of good information out of that? It's cool because we're going to build on that. All right, sweet. We're going to build on stuff you don't know then.
He had a heat stroke and tried to die.
All right. So, can I get the 2 instructors to pick up some sword boards too? Yeah. Because you're gonna demonstrate while I just hold this iPad. It's gonna be pretty sick. So we talked. Peter the Quick talked about different types of shots coming in. He talked about the chop. He talked about the slash, right? The long slash. Yeah. Wrap shots. All those shots are really important for swimming. You got to be good at them. And we're gonna take that kind of to the next level here a little bit. So put up your board. We got 2 righties. This is awesome.
The way God intended.
That was really good. So like,
don't have me demonstrate nothing. I'm gonna fuck it all up.
when you're thinking about these shots, right, and trying to hit your opponent, starting with like the chop, there are certain areas that you need to target. Not just because you're going to hit your opponent, but because they're threatening to your opponent, right? Most of the time you're gonna walk up on a board bend and you're gonna go, how am I gonna hit that guy? A big old shield in front of him, right? Anybody walk up to somebody and be like, how am I gonna hit this dude?
Yeah.
I know the lefty. Yeah.
The way you hit them is threat. You threaten them, and then when they move their board, you hit them, right? So you can threaten them with any one of these shots. We'll talk about the chop first. Can you show us a good chop? Right? Show us a chop without the board there. Hey, look, it's the same thing. Isn't that sweet? Show us a chop at like his elbow area. Right? See how it's like basically the same thing? He just moved his arm like over. Like he's just chopping. Right? Just chop, 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 chop. It's all chops. So if you get good at chopping, you can move the chop wherever you want. You can chop the other side of his body. You can chop the sword side of his body. Right? So as you think about striking your opponent, there's only like 3 different kinds of moves you need to know, and all you have to do is shift your body in a way or shift your arm in a way that targets a different area. So you're not learning 20 different moves, you're learning 3, and you're just doing it a little bit different. Make sense?
Yeah.
So think about it. Cool. Can you show me a cool, like a slash? Yeah. Right? So that's a slash. This is really important in that if he can get him to move his shield over his body, like he comes out to try and strike, he can hit him. Again, it's very threatening, even if he hasn't moved his board, it's real threatening. Right? Put up your board, block the slash with your board. How hard is it for you to swing your sword now? Alright? I'm gonna tell you right now, sword and board, you need to swing you need to swing more than once to kill your opponent, okay? If you're killing your opponent in one move, get a different opponent.
Fakes becoming incredibly important. Fakes, feints, all that.
Wraps. Wraps. Let's see some wraps. All right. Wrap his elbow. Other elbow. Right, he doesn't even move his board and he gets to hit him. Cool. So how are you guys with those shots? If I asked you right now, are you 100% on trying to hit your opponent?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So we're gonna kind of like we're gonna move past a little like that kind of drill and stuff, right? We're gonna move a little bit forward, and we're gonna do a better drill, like the next level drill. It's called attack, block, attack. Some of you may have already heard it, may have already done it. Raise your hand if you've done attack, block, attack before. Almost everybody. All right. So the first drill we're gonna do is we're gonna apply these strikes in attack, block, attack. All right. So let's give an example of attack, block, attack for everybody that hasn't seen it.
My attacking.
All right. Attack. He attacked. He blocked the shot that returned on him, and he attacked back. His objective is to hit his opponent. Make sense?
So just block, strike, forward.
It's well. So it's not. It's
You're not
1, 2, 3. Attack, block, attack.
Yeah.
Then you stop and reset.
Okay.
The idea here, if you watch how he did it, right? They're out of engagement range. They're going to step into engage. The attacker's going to step into an engagement range, attack. He's going to block the return, and he's going to attack back, and then he's going to retreat. Okay. What this is doing is it's defining a really easy way to engage other opponents with your sword and board. Okay. Anybody, raise your hand if you had trouble like stepping in and engaging opponents. This is what this is for. Right? This is to learn how to engage and use the shots that you know in that format.
As well as to get out when you're done with what you're trying to do, right? You don't have to linger there and keep grinding if you don't know what you're doing. Just go in, do your combo, get out, see what happens.
Okay, we're gonna build on this exercise and some and other drills. So yeah, let's pair up and let's get to it. All right, find some pairs. Do we have an even? All right, how'd you guys feel with that?
Pretty good. Like
Simple drill, but effective, right? Cool. We're gonna build on that a little bit, so get used to it. Cool. All right. So, what are we gonna build on that a little bit? Well, did you guys have a hard time getting around your opponent's board?
Yes.
Feel like it was pretty tough?
Yes.
Why is it tough?
Because it's there.
Board's in the way.
Good answer.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
It's not static.
Okay.
It moves.
forcing yourself into the drill. Like at one point in time, I threw a fake, and I was like, "Nope, that's not the drill." like, don't cheat the drill.
Yep.
Not really. That drill, you're not using a ton of lateral movement to get around things.
Cool. Yeah. That's actually a good segue into the next point is footwork. Footwork with sword and board is paramount. All right. We started a little bit of footwork in that first drill, right? Just engaging our opponent, right? So we're going to start to work on a little bit of lateral movement with this now. So let me grab my gear and get a target dummy.
You do that shit to the nether realm.
I don't know where my gear is.
It was never here. It's back there.
It's way back there.
My gear. Say, grab mine if you need it.
What? You gotta make it loose so it goes. It's fair.
All right.
I can pucker just a little bit.
Just a touch. What I want to do is have you have your back facing. Got it. All right. So, basic chop, right? Hit him. He puts his board in the way. Can't hit him. You guys should have a pretty clear view of whether my sword can hit him or not, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Easy to hit board. So, here's the cool thing, is that I can throw the same thing, right? If I step one way or the other, it actively changes everything about the shot. For instance, if I take a step this way, I can start to get closer and closer to his shoulder, right? The more and more I move, the easier it is to hit him, right? I can even hear me hit him sometimes. It's great. Opposite way. My left side, his right. If I step, right, if I'm trying to chop him and try and hit him in that shoulder or his bicep, it's hard to hit him because his board's in the way. What's cool is his board is not very much in the way, especially with this being a round shield. If I step this way, I can hit him so much easier, right? Does it feel pretty basic to you guys?
Yeah.
How often do you guys do that though?
Not very. I can't reach the shoulders that easily.
I can't hip wrap people who just sit there So I have to like force them to either move their body or move around them, depending upon how mobile they like to be.
Yeah. I'm a tall person, so like hitting shoulders are like relatively easy for me. I love to go for it. You do the same thing for hips, right? I can't hit him. I can't hit him. This is a chop, by the way, right? I can't hit him. This is a chop, by the way. Okay? That's not even a wrap. Dark side. Pretty easy to hit, right? Right? We don't have to do a whole lot. We don't have to do a lot of lateral movement to hit the dark side. What's I'm going to tell you guys, when you do your shot, try and always check lateral movement on both sides of your body. Go left and go right when you're learning these things. Because put your guard up. I can go left and do a dark side, right? And it puts me like way out here, and it's like real long type of shot. And oftentimes hits him in the arm. But if I laterally move to my right, away from my target zone, it's easier to hit him. Okay? So neat stuff there. Right? So practice both sides. Figure out why things change with your opponent. You can also do this to like get your opponent to move his board left and right. He'll move his hips as like you move. So we'll talk about feints and feints later, but it's on the topic of like lateral movement. If I move my body, and I've been chopping at him like this a lot, you see how he moves his board that way, right? So if I go, right, real easy body fake. Cool. So we'll get into that a little bit later. So the next drill is going to be attack, block, attack with some lateral movement. We're going to enter space, right? You can do this with your left foot or your right foot. You're going to enter space. You're going to throw an attack. You're going to block the next one, and as you're blocking the next attack, I want you to move laterally, left or right. This is when I say left or right, it's kind of like a 45-degree angle. You still want to get towards your opponent when you do this. And that's when you throw your next strike. And you throw your next strike when the foot you move touches the ground. You hear that?
Yes.
If I move this foot and I move over here, when this foot touches the ground is when I want to hit my opponent. Okay? It does a couple things. The first thing that it does is it grants me extra power when my foot hits the ground. You're using gravity to your advantage. Okay? We talked about it earlier with Peter's class again, right? You're using your footwork to deliver attacks. The second thing it does is it gives your opponent the least amount of time to respond to your movement. Make sense? Right? If I come up here and I swing and then I go, he's already responded to my movement. But if I swing, he hasn't responded to my movement yet. Cool? That's where you get the most advantage. So, we're going to do attack, block, attack with some lateral movement. Any questions? Stand up. Is it helping you guys out? You learning stuff with it?
Yeah.
Yeah? You get to experiment a little bit with some different movements and how different shots interact with lateral movement. Think about the fact that you have 3 shots and like 2 different ways to move. You can multiply those together. It's like, like 6 different things, right? But then we get into what's next, like a little bit more footwork, body placement, where your shoulders are, where your hips are, lunging, etc., level changes. There's a lot of different variables that go into all this. It changes those 3 shots into a crazy amount of different things. So it's going to be a lot of experimenting. And that's where like a lot of people that have a lot of experience, that's why they're pretty good at sword fighting. It's just the experience of them fighting. They've been trying out what works for them for a long time. You know what I mean? Cool. Any questions on what we talked about so far? Before we skip ahead? All right. Footwork. Footwork, I categorize your feet placement. Peter talked about it. I categorize it in 2 different places. Pete talked about it a little bit, right? Sword foot forward and shield foot forward, right? He called it sword foot forward and funny foot forward, right? raise your hand. Tell me the differences between having your sword foot forward and your shield foot forward, and why it's important. All right. Talon, you can talk later. I know you know everything.
Changes the plane your shield protects.
Sure. Sure. Anyone in the instructions want to show that? Oh, yeah. Right, so if his sword foot is forward, I'm sorry. If their sword foot is forward, the way that his shield protects, shield foot forward, it protects very heavily on his shield side, and it puts his sword in a defensive place behind him, right? But if you get around it, like with some wrap shots, or he lowers his shield, it's pretty easy to get past. As once you get past the plane, it's easy to hit him. If he shifts, if they shift, and their sword foot is forward, it becomes very difficult to attack that shield side. Right? That's kind of what he means by that plane, right? You can see the angle is much different, right? It's more at a 45-degree angle versus before it was more flat towards me. So it makes like a whole bunch of attacks that were normally effective, extremely ineffective immediately. Other hands?
With your sword foot forward, you have less of your shots impeded by your shield being in the way, so you're more offensive.
Yep.
With your board foot forward, your shield is in the way, but a lot more of your shots have a better static guard.
Yep, absolutely. You gotta get you might be finding yourself fighting against your shield, especially when you're crossing over your center line. Anybody else?
If you're shield foot forward, when you are ready to bring your sword out, you can close more distance with your sword side.
Can you explain that a little bit more in the closing distance part?
You can glide into sword side better. If you are here and you're stepping, your sword side doesn't come forward as much.
Okay, so you can project threat more, right? Because you're switching into a sword foot forward stance.
Yes. So your threat is delayed. It's not immediate. Because here you're immediate threat. Here you're reverse.
Right. So in this case, what we're talking about is you have more range or more threat if your sword foot forward is forward. Sword foot is forward. Right. And what he's stacking that on the capability to change mid-fight, right? You don't always have to stay in one static guard. You should be and thinking about being comfortable in both stances. Absolutely. Right? Because you're going to need to shift based on your opponent. And so with this capability, you can shift into a sword foot forward guard as you engage with your opponent. Maybe they're trying to run away. Yeah, you know, I'm stepping forward and I want to chase it. Watch your punch. Right? I'm shield foot forward and I take a step and he tries to get away. Well, okay, well, I can chase him down really easy. Cool. That's pretty much like what I had for that footwork. You guys are awesome. Thanks for teaching my class. No. Just think about those things. We're trying to spread the info out, you know, among everybody here. And as we do like these ABA drills, like when you do that engagement, think about different ways you can engage now, right? It doesn't have to be this static engagement all the time where, okay, I always fight like this and this is how I engage. So this is how I'm going to drill engaging. No, change it up, right? Okay, well, normally I fight here, but now I want to engage sword foot forward, right? And we just talked about the lateral movement, almost like a two-step, right? So that ABA drill turns into, you know, stepping into a sword foot forward stance. I attack, I block his shot, and now I'm moving over into this stance. So I'm going from shield to sword back to shield stance. Cool? These will work you into the real world scenarios. Like you're going to go out there and you'll find yourself in the same place fighting your opponents. Cool. Anybody else got anything on that?
You're covering all the bases.
Yeah. Sweet. That's what I like to hear. The no questions. All right. Now we're talking about some other things that parts of your body do. We're going to talk about knees. Knees are.
Sorry.
Yeah. jokes aside, the most important thing, about your knees is their ability to change your level when fighting your opponent. You see a sword real quick? If I'm fighting him and I'm having trouble hitting him, I'm trying to get underneath of things that he has. If I bend my knees, I can hit him. All right? That's all it is. Bending your knees. This is in addition to everything else that you're doing, right? So we're talking about engaging an opponent, right? That might be, you know, I step in, bend my knees to hit him. Make sense? So what this does to your opponent is it threatens an entirely new zone for him. Say his shield is up high, I'm having trouble fighting him up here, right? As soon as I do this, he needs to drop his guard. If he doesn't, he dies. Right? So the next thing we're going to do is start to put this into our ABA drills. Okay? So the next drill, I want you to experiment with bending your knees as part of your engagement. Right? Make it your first or second shot has to be a lower level shot. Okay? So it would look something like, I might do something like, right? Or it might be, okay? Cool. The second thing I want you to do as part of this exercise is switch your stances as part of your engagement. Here. You don't have to do these at the same time. If you want to, that's great. For you, your folks are like more advanced, do it at the same time. Those of you who not, break it up a little bit. Learn one thing at a time. Right? But here, step in. Cool? Any questions? All right, let's break into pairs. Let me make sure I don't have anything else in between what I want to talk about next. How does everybody feel about their ability to control range with their opponent?
Oh, wonderful. So good. I get murdered in that for red. It's like, damn, did you control the range? No, bye. Go sit down.
We're going to do a real quick drill because some of you guys are a little shaky on range control. That I'm going to show you guys that'll help you get better at range. That's all this is, right? So, partner. All right. I want you guys to get into one of your two stances, right?
At some point,
one of you is going to be the leader and one of you is going to be the follower. In this case, I'm going to be the leader. Okay?
Yeah, no, incorrect.
I want you to think about where your feet are.
Which hands?
Like,
which stances?
give me a sword real quick. Yeah.
In single sword, you're always going, like, there's always a risk that you get your primary sword on.
Put a sword in between your toes
It's very dangerous.
and designate this as the range you want to control. So when we're done in a second, we're going to check to see what our range looks like. Okay? All we're going to do is I'm going to take steps backward and he's going to follow me.
The longer we do this, the further back.
I'm going to do 5 backward and then he's going to take lead and he's going to take 5 backward. Okay? This is just us going backwards. You can do this in any direction, right? I can do this forward. I can do this side to side. We're going to just show you back and just backwards right now. Okay? The objective of this is for him as the follower to try and keep this range at all times. After he steps, like I'm going to step, and then he's going to step and try and judge that range and stay in that. Okay? Make sense? Where are we at? A little off. 6 inches off. Okay? And that's the game. It's just a game. All right? Now you lead.
A little close. I can touch both of our toes now.
Yep, so a little bit over. Not too bad. That's it. That's it. So let's pair up and let's do that. What I want you to do is I want you to do one backwards. One of you lead, one of you follow. One forwards. So forwards is neat, right? I'm gonna go towards them. Okay. You do this left and right. Right. So if we were gonna go right.
So, what are we recognizing right now? The safest shot is the one that people throw a lot, right?
Pretty simple.
Just.
All right. Let's just take a quick 5 minutes and do it. Question?
Do you want us to swap feet it or just stay static in the foot position we're in?
So I want to go through this a little quick. So I don't. You can swap feet if you want, but I just want you guys to do one round backwards for each player, one round side to side for each player, and one round forward for each player. Make sense?
Yep.
Go into our last and final kind of discussion and then drill. If you guys want to stay and talk and chat, if you want to talk about whatever sword and board stuff, happy to do it, but this will kind of like flesh the class out a little bit. I wanted to kind of give you guys a lot of different drills that build on each other to work that you guys could take home, work on, get a little bit better at. I hope this, for you guys that are like in the intermediate clawing up to the advanced, that this has helped you guys out. And for those of you who are in the beginners area, I hope that this has also helped you guys out. All right? So, last one. And this is probably the fun one. This is the most experimental of these drills I'm giving you today. We're gonna get into it. I just call it combos. Combo ABA. Okay? The objective of this is to get you guys experimenting with throwing multiple shots before your opponent reacts. Right? Sometimes you get in there and you throw a shot, and then your opponent's like, "Hi, you threw a shot." That's great. They don't do anything. Right? Or you need them to move their shield, right? To move their shield, and you want to hit them somewhere else, right? You need to use combos to do that. You can also use feints to do that. If we have time, I may talk a little bit about feints, but maybe after the class a little bit. But this is all about combos. Combos is all these shots you've been throwing, you just throw them in a sequence before your opponent gets to do anything. Now, your opponent, before the fight, whoever the defender is, the blocker, he's going to give you something first. He's going to tell you a number between 1 and 3. That's how many shots you get to throw before he's throwing back. Okay? So,
I'm always picking 3.
You can always pick 3 if you want. So if I'm the attacker, I'm going to come up, he's going to say number 3. Right? And then you're going to escape. Right? You can do whatever you want with those attacks. Try and keep them at the top level, because like your opponent is not moving his feet, so he's not using his footwork to get away from you. Right? But it could be, I want to throw at the same place twice. He says 3, right? You can throw at the same place twice. You can throw if you want, right? You can level change. You can laterally move in between the shots if you want to, right? You can come in here and I can go, right, 1, 2, 3, block, escape, right? We're getting more and more into like real world scenarios of what you'd see on the field with this. Cool?
By top level, you simply mean don't leg people because they're not going to move, right?
Yeah, like your opponents,
like your top quadrants above.
Yeah, try and keep your top quadrants like, you know, just under the hips is good. Like you're aiming for hips to shoulders, everything up here. Got it? I just mentioned that because like your opponent can't move, and the best defense against leg shots is generally moving. Makes sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Any questions? Cool. Let's jump in and drill. 4. So we're gonna keep that trend going. How'd you guys like that drill?
I like that drill a lot. It was the only drill where I had to like tell myself, do the drill. I would always forget to attack my partner at the end.
Yeah.
So like as me and Patches were going through, you'd be like, yeah, you killed me here. Okay, but swing anyways because that's the drill. But like, but I like that. Just you throw your combo and they have to swing at you regardless of whether or not they got hit.
Yep.
And so it feels like if you don't land your combo, they attack you back. Duh. If you do land your combo, the idea of late shots are a thing in the game. And if you block or if you evade or block late shots, you actually don't have to worry about how late they were.
Yep.
So
always keep your protection up. Keep your guard up. Cool. All right. Any questions about the whole class so far? Anything? Answered them all. I'm pretty good at this, I guess.
No, I have a question. I just need to figure out where it was.
All right. So I
Yeah,
think I think I want to talk about one more thing with you guys, just to like round out the class a little bit. Let's talk a little bit, just real high level, fakes, baits, and feints. This guy right here, he's smiling. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, I was about to, like, it came up in my head. Oh wait, I do have a question.
Yeah. So somebody here, tell me the difference between a fake, a feint, and a bait.
Because I knew he wasn't going to hit. We won't go down that rabbit hole too. But let's get back into a block
Your hand was up first.
Same
Bait
thing.
is something that
And
you're
let's go
intentionally
with
leaving open.
single.
A feint is
One person will
small
do a fake.
movement that is trying to elicit a response, and then when's the last opponent
Fake.
A fake is like a shot that actually exits your bubble for a moment, but then diverts to something else.
Yeah, that's pretty close. That's and I take that as a good answer. I'd like to think a little bit of feints in the range of using my body to make you think I'm going to do something different than I actually am, versus my sword making you think I'm going to do something different, right? The threat of me hitting you versus just maybe I'm moving my body in a specific direction, right? Similar to how I showed you earlier, right? Like throwing a reverse wrap to their hip as I move my body this way, right? You're going to want to move your guard with my body, but my sword is coming from a different direction. Okay? Fakes, feints, and baits are all really important in Sword and Board. You get a lot of fun kills out of it. I love it. It's great.
If you want to learn them, that class is down the way.
Yeah, they go. Brett gives a full in-depth fakes, baits, and baits class. It's amazing. I love it. I think
there is one on YouTube, and there will probably be another one on YouTube after this, I would assume.
I think there are like 4 or 5 on YouTube.
Probably.
I have a playlist of like every class that I could ever find online. So if you just message me later and be like, "Hey, Talon, where's the class playlist?"
Give me that playlist.
I got you.
But basically, what we'll do is let's show you like maybe one of our favorite fakes or baits or something, and let you take it from there, right? I'll start. Probably my favorite bait is getting people to throw at my shield side shoulder so I can hit them in their arm, right? I want him to throw at this shoulder, right? So that when he does that, I can move my shield back into position and I can take his arm. He extends his arm past his shield, way past his defenses, right? I can laterally move away from it. Great, wonderful. Sometimes you hit over top of the shield with it, hit him in the shoulder, love it. But I'll tell you how I do it. I don't just walk to my opponent and go, right? I don't just do that. What I like to do is I like to throw it, I like to be part of an engagement, right? I might step in and I'll throw, and you'll notice that when I throw this, I put my shield shoulder back here, right? I'm in a swords foot forward stance. My shield is in guard, like I'm blocking here. And what I do is I give him a little nibble, like I just go like this. So I'll throw, and I'll throw like this. And so as he looks at it and he throws back, I'm moving my shield back into position, and I'm hitting him. And it all becomes one motion, right? So full speed, it kind of looks like this, right? I don't give him the opportunity to hit it because I left it out there too long. I just let him see it. If he sees it and doesn't take it, it doesn't matter to me. I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna throw. Right? So if he doesn't take it, it kind of just looks like this.
You can sell fakes by moving your body.
That's your set. It's a really safe bait to me, and it's something I really like. And you guys want to throw down maybe one of your favorite fakes or baits?
Yeah, mine's a little sillier, but I've got a lot of mileage with it. So it's called the Sex Panther in some places. But basically the idea is you throw like real close to the leg, right? You want to make sure that they know that you're underneath their shield, and then you come back across the front. And the idea is as you do this and this, their shield drops just a little bit each time. So it's forward, backward, slam them on the shoulder, right? That mine was a flat wrap. You can throw a chop, you can throw, you know, a long slash, like whatever. But the idea is they lower it, smash. Pretty effective from my experience. Unless they know it's coming, then it doesn't work.
Is that a fake feint or a bait?
I would say it's fake.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actively doing something to create the openings, which is usually
Banshee, Morpheus.
Yeah, I'll give it a little.
Give it a go.
A little tutorial.
A little go.
Yeah, a little something. So I guess I'll let you figure out what this is. One of my favorite things I like to do when somebody is.
Speak up a little bit.
It kind of involves a little bit of a level change, but also a little bit of sword fake as well. So what I would do is I would level change here, throw kind of my sword downwards to kind of get their shield to drop, and then back over here onto the shoulder. Yeah, it's kind of like you're faking for the reverse wrap. Yeah, this onto their hip. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So you're faking for the reverse wrap to pop back into their sword side shoulder.
Works really good if they're sword foot forward like Kaiwa.
Yeah. That'd be my favorite.
You got one, Banshee? You can say it now.
Say yes. Give away the secrets. That's why we're here.
Secret sauce.
Golly gracious.
Give them the sauce.
You stole mine.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've been dating with the pommel.
Nip throws this one a lot. It's basically you loop here, make them think that you're going to be throwing this hip. Then you come up, and then they'll follow that pump because they're like, oh shit, I just dropped. So now he's going to throw the shoulder. And whenever that comes up, you drop down into the money. And then whenever they get used to that, you can go. And then, what happened to your ankles?
We need surgery again.
So what do all three of those that we just showed you have in common?
There's a lot of fake to be like, hey, I'm threatening you. You're scary.
Yeah, I'm looking for one specific thing that all of them involve. Green and black.
They're all fake. They're all fakes.
Yes, I'm looking for something a little more specific. Sporky.
Astute observation.
One more time.
They all open shield side shoulder.
That is also true.
A level change. A level change. A level change.
You're all right,
the
but
level
you're
change.
all wrong.
That's what I was. No. That is all correct. And a lot of fakes will have similar overlap, but the level change is what I was trying to draw attention to. Is every single one of them either starts high, go low, or start low, go high. And then from there, it's very easy to fake, you know, when you come from low to hit high, then you go low, fake high, hit low. And you can just kind of keep people bouncing and guessing on the back and forth.
Cool. Wrap up there?
Yeah,
sounds good. Any questions? Anything like that?
Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining the class. I hope you guys learned a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. All right.
Happy to chat afterwards.
Bear pit. Kai stays in. Let's go.